What's up, everyone? Today I want to talk about something which is quite important, but I don't really see anyone talking about it. Um, Especially I don't see any kind of people that are supposed to be teachers talking about it. Um, and that is the subject of OF and SW. Now, I'm purposely leaving it in terms of the acronym kind of form because some of you are going to be too young to even understand what it is I'm talking about. And I would prefer that you don't find out. So if you don't know what these acronyms mean, then this video is not for you. Okay? So just go and watch something else. This video is for those among you that are considering doing this as an option to make money for yourself, thinking that maybe this is an easy way that you can make money quickly um, when you get a bit older. So I'd like to tell you today why this is not a good idea and, advise you on why you shouldn't do it. Okay, even though potentially you could make money from it and so on. I'd like to advise you on why it's not a good idea. So basically speaking, the main reason why this is not a good idea, okay, this type of work, this type of activity, is if you think about a normal business, okay, if you think about a normal business, in a normal business, what is it that you do to make money? Okay. In a normal business, you sell something. Huh? Sell something. Sell a product. Okay. Or uh, sell a service. This is how you make money with any business. Okay. You either sell a product, you sell a service. You either sell a product or you sell a service, and that is how you make money. Okay. Now, when you think about this industry, all right, when you think about this industry, what is the thing that you are selling? What is the thing that you are selling? The thing that you are selling is yourself. Okay, this is fundamentally why this is so bad. Okay, and why it will wreck you psychologically when you do it, or if you do it, and you shouldn't do it. Because you are makes you the product. This is why it's so bad. Okay, you become the product. Okay, you literally turn yourself from a human being to an object. This is why it's so bad. Okay, and this is why people become extremely psychologically damaged by it. Okay, even even some people might say something like, well, if I do it, no one will find out because I'll cover my face, or no, I'll do it in a way which hides my identity. I'll use a fake name, this and that. The problem is not some other people finding out, although obviously if it's on the internet, it's here forever. Okay, so it's not going to disappear. That's the first thing. And eventually people will find out. Okay, but anyway, that's besides the point. It doesn't make it wrong or right if other people are gonna say something about it. That's not the point. What makes it wrong or right is, what makes it wrong is you are turning yourself into an object. Okay, you are turning yourself into a product. And then you are selling yourself. It's like you're exploiting yourself. Okay, it's like you're taking away your humanity and you are objectifying yourself. What for? For money. For money. You are literally, this is why the word is called prostituting yourself. Okay, I didn't really want to use the word, but that's why it's called that word, because you turn yourself into an object for money. Okay, this is why it's so bad. Because it is fundamentally based on a lie. It's fundamentally based on a lie. And the lie is, excuse me, the lie is, the lie, an object. This is the lie, okay? Because you're not an object, okay? Wrong. You are a person with a mind and a heart and a soul, okay? This is why it's so fundamentally wrong. And I can tell you from personal experience, I've known, multiple girls that have done this, been in this industry, and not a single one of them was psychologically stable. Every single one of them has had serious problems, like serious problems, even though they've been, discreet or you know, they've, um, they've managed to hide their name or whatever. The work affects you, and the work destroys you. Okay, because again, what you're doing is you're taking your humanity and you are pushing it to the side in order to make money. And the problem with this, okay, besides the fact that it's based on a lie and that you're worth much more than just, selling yourself for money. The problem is once you start to let go of your humanity, okay, then what happens, and this always happens, okay, with every person that enters this industry, what happens is you start your journey, you start your you start making content or start doing whatever kind of activity you're doing with the mindset that, look, I'm not gonna do extreme stuff. I'll keep it like, this is so common. This is what every girl says, what every person who does this kind of thing says. They say, I'll keep it light. I won't do anything extreme. Okay. But the problem with this is once you put your foot in the door and you get started, then what happens is you're gonna start to make money. Okay. And people that you're selling yourself to, okay, the people that are buying your content, who are obviously not going to be, and this is another reason as well why it is actually so bad, is you have to think about the people that you are allowing to see you intimately in this way are not the people that you would ever allow yourself to be intimate with. In other words, the guy who's paying you this money to see you in this way, he's doing that because he would never have a chance to talk to you or be with you in that way, like in real life, like in a normal human interaction. He would never have, because you would say no to him, right? Because he's not like a good person, you see. So now you are forcing yourself to do things for or with people who you would never interact with in real life. And this is also why it destroys people who get into this type of work psychologically, because it doesn't compute. Here's a person that I would never talk to, a person that I would be afraid to be around, a person that they're not good morally and all that. And now here I'm forcing myself to either be with them physically or send them certain type of pictures or videos of myself or talk to them in a certain type of way because they give me money. You see, it's a very damaging thing psychologically. And these are all the people that pay for this kind of stuff. Why? Because obviously the guy that you want or the people, the type of person that you want doesn't have to pay for it, obviously, because he can just talk to you, right? So now what I was gonna say is the other thing that always happens, okay, this literally always happens in every single case, is the person will start off saying, look, I'm gonna just do very light type of content. I won't show my face and I'll just, I'll do basically what I do on Instagram anyway. I'll do it like that. Okay, so what's the big deal? It's no difference, right? But once these guys start to pay you or these people start to pay you, they're gonna request you, please do this a little bit more. Please do this little thing, which is out of your comfort zone. And if you do it, I'm gonna give you this much money. And now you have already bought into the idea, unfortunately, of selling yourself, objectifying yourself, of you've already decreased the amount of you've already decreased the amount of self kind of respect or kind of protection that you have over yourself. In other words, if a man came up to you, for example, and said, listen, if you take your clothes off right now, I'll give you this much money, you would call the police on him, right? You'd run away, call the police on him. Obviously, protect yourself, right? But you have now bought into the idea that this kind of thing is okay, like digitally speaking. Essentially, this is what you're doing, right? So digitally, you've said that this is okay. And so you've taken away one level of protection or willingness to protect yourself. Do you see? And so now when someone says, okay, you're already like taking your clothes off or whatever, can you do this thing for me, please? And I'll pay you like this much money. Now you're gonna consider it. And what always happens, unfortunately, this is just how things work. Once you start doing something, if you keep doing it, you're gonna progress in it. If you walk on a path, you will eventually end up where you're going. I guess a old Buddhist saying. Look at where you're heading. Look at the direction that you're walking in, because if you don't stop, you will get to where you are going. Hmm? Excuse me. So, what always happens, literally every single time, is eventually the person who's doing the work will say, "Okay, fine, I'll do it. What's the big deal, right? I'm already doing, I'm already doing something which, uh, I'm already doing something which, I'm already doing something which I thought I would not do, or which is already in this way anyway. Okay, this thing is just a little bit, outside of that. So what's the big deal? Okay, let me do it." And eventually what happens, okay, is this gets repeated, okay, until you end up somewhere very, very, very far from where you thought you'd ever go. Okay, and you don't even know how you got there. Alright, you end up doing things which you did not ever believe that you could do. And you end up here. This literally always happens. Every single time. And again, it's just because things multiply, right? Excuse me. It's because things multiply. And the same thing happens when you do good, in the opposite direction. But when you take this kind of path, this kind of work, things always multiply. It's the same reason why you shouldn't ever sell drugs or anything like that. Besides the fact that they hurt people and so on, because you will say, "Look, I'm just gonna start off selling, like a gram of this or something here and there," and then someone offers you twice as much money for 5 grams, or 2 grams, or they say, "Okay, listen, can you give me this much, and I'll give you this much money." Eventually, you're gonna say yes, right? Because you're in the business already. You're in the industry. And now, before you know it, you're selling all type of quantities of stuff that you'd never think you would be selling. You see, the thing takes over, and eventually you lose control of it. Which is why so many of these people, so many of the people who enter this kind of work, they end up in, they end up doing things which they seriously regret later on, and they feel like they've been taken advantage of and all of that. Okay, because it's like step by step by step by step. You see. Now, finally, the last reason why you shouldn't do it, or the second last reason. Okay, the second last reason why you shouldn't do it Excuse me. The second last reason why you shouldn't do it is because it is damaging. It is damaging to you, to the customers, to society overall. So this is another reason, okay, why it is bad to do it. Future. Hmm. Excuse me. This is another reason why you shouldn't do it. Okay. And that is that fundamentally it is damaging. The work is damaging. There is a cost to this work. A good business is one in which everybody wins and benefits from. Okay, like a good, say, I don't know, a good food place, a sandwich place or something. The people benefit from you paying them. They pay their employees who benefit from getting paid. And they make good, healthy food, which you benefit from eating. Everyone wins. There's no loser. Okay. This is a good business. A bad business, which is like this, or like selling drugs, or like scamming people, or like anything like that, is one in which people pay costs to take part. You pay a cost to take part. So this will seriously damage you. Okay, it will mess you up. And there's no question about that. You're gonna end up on drugs. Definitely. And you're gonna end up an alcoholic. Definitely. Because the work is not something you can do like sober. Okay. The more you do it, the more that you'll become dependent on drugs or alcohol. It's not possible to do it sober. Why? Because the work imposes a cost on you. It's not natural to do it. Okay? So the work will, any money you make, you pay a cost in your soul in exchange for the money. In exchange for the money, you pay a cost in your soul. Okay? So the more money you make, the more of your soul gets traded. So then the more drugs, alcohol, etc. you'll need to take to try and deal with it. Now, not only this, but also you will have to pay a cost in terms of your future, okay? Because people will obviously care about you having done this work. It's very likely that the person that you want to be with in the future will obviously not be happy with the fact that you've done this work in the past. Okay, and that's just a reality. Even a good person will find it uncomfortable, the fact that you've done this kind of work in the past. And so when you come time to, when you want to have a happy family and all of that, and you're ready to settle down and, be with your person and all that, then this work is gonna make big problems for you. Because they're gonna say, well, like, how can I be with you fully and completely when you've been with so many other people in this sort of very intimate way? And not because you cared about them or because you were mutually attracted to them or something, but because you wanted to make money. So you were willing to do something to harm yourself and also to take part in harming other people in order to get money. That's like a character flaw. It's like a big character flaw, you see? And that's gonna really mess with whoever it is that you wanna be with. Okay? And not to mention, say now if people start to send him your old videos or pictures or whatever, that's gonna be like not good. Hmm? So too, if you have children, it's gonna mess with them at their. They're gonna have a lot of questions. And now, if you think about it this way, the ethic which you are taking part in is gonna impact them also. In that they will, how will you be able to say to them, listen, don't do this thing or that thing which is bad for money. Okay, you need to do the right thing. If think about if you were gonna teach your children or someone that you cared about, how would you teach them? You'd say, listen, Make sure you look after yourself. Make sure you do the right thing for money. Don't lie for your money. Don't steal for your money, etc. Do the right thing, right? Well, how will they take you seriously if you've done this to make your money? They're gonna say like, You're a hypocrite. Like, don't talk to me about this." You see, it's like a big problem. It's like a big problem. You see. And now on top of this, and this is also like the problem of people who sell drugs or people who sell alcohol and things like that. It's that you are taking part in helping people to hurt themselves, fundamentally. Because the people who are buying this content, who are paying for it, or buying actual physical access to you, which is like the worst version of all of this, they are also doing something which is bad. Okay, they are objectifying you on the one hand, which is bad. They're treating you like you're not a human being, which is bad. And then they are also spending their money on you in this way instead of actually finding a healthy relationship with someone. You see, they're using you like a an object, like an object, and they are damaging themselves by doing so. Okay, so it's not just like you're only hurting yourself, which should be bad enough and not acceptable. Okay, but it's also that you are taking part in helping other people to hurt themselves, which is like way worse. Huh? So, excuse me. And then the last part is that this is bad for the world overall, for society, for the world overall. Again, because it is fundamentally based on a lie, which is that you are an object, which you're not. And so if everyone begins to see people this way, that other people are objects, that we can pay them to make them do what we want, we don't have to see the humanity in them. We can just exploit them or take advantage of them our desires, for our desires. This sets a very bad culture, and this sets a very bad way of the world operating. It's not good. Okay. Now, my final thing to you, my dear student, of why you shouldn't do this, okay, of why you shouldn't do this, is because you are infinitely valuable. You are worth so much more than this work. This is my final reason to you. Okay. I have so much to offer. Many of you who think about doing this work, I believe either did you do it because, of greed on the one hand, because you think it's fast money, quick money, something. But I think also a lot of people who do this kind of work, you have like low self-esteem and you don't realize how valuable you are. Okay. And this is my final kind of reason why you shouldn't do this work. It's because you are infinitely valuable. Okay, I'm not just saying that to be nice, but that's the literal reality, okay, of every human being. You are infinitely valuable and you have so much to offer, okay, in terms of what you can actually do using your brain, your mind, your heart, your spirit, as opposed to just turning yourself into an object. You have so much to offer uniquely. And so if you imagine what you can do if you just don't do this work and instead you follow the path which it might be slightly more difficult, but it's like honest, it's true, and it's not hurting you in some way and not hurting other people. Imagine how much you have to offer to the world. Mm. You could have a wonderful family. You could have a wonderful life. You could contribute. You could get a career in some field which really interests you. Now, you could use your brain. You could use your, excuse me, you could use your heart, you could use your gifts and talents, okay, which you have, which maybe you're not aware of that you have yet. But you are worth so much more than this work, okay? But don't turn yourself into an object for people who don't care about you. Hmm? So there's my advice to you, and I hope that you take it seriously, please. And I only say this advice out of love, okay? Please don't take it as like judgment or like I'm better than anyone. Obviously, I'm not. I'm not better than anyone, obviously. And I only say this because, like I said, I personally know people who do this kind of work. Yeah. So, and none of them are sort of psychologically stable. They all have real big problems. And I don't want that for any of you. Okay. So please take care of yourselves, value yourselves, and realize that you're worth a lot more than this kind of work.